What up, bros and broettes? I'm coming to you from the Bat Cave. And this isn't going to be a super long video, but it's kind of in-depth details. And my buddy Ryan Salzman, he's always got a phrase. He's like, once is an accident. You know, it happens. Twice is a pattern. And so what I've been doing, I've been fishing a couple derbies, you know, doing quite a bit of fishing on Lake Guntersville. And there's been two instances where I've had a great big giant bass, a 4 pound plus, cough up a giant crayfish in my live well, dude. Like a monster. I'm talking like 5 inches, 6 inches long. And it's been this specific color. I'll put a picture on the screen for you. It's like this orangish red, kind of deep green, black, almost like a black fleck kind of deal with red flake. And you know, once is like, man, that's kind of cool. Twice is these guys are eating this stuff, dude. And it relates to these flipping fish that I'm catching in the grass. So what I'm doing is I'm going out to the lake this weekend. I'm going to do some fishing. And I wanted to sort of customize my tackle and customize my flipping setups. So I have stuff that matches the hatch. I'm obsessed with that when it comes to doing the little doodle rig with the minnow, when it comes to throwing a chatterbait, whatever I'm doing, swim baits, all that kind of stuff. I love being as natural and as matching the hatch as I possibly can. So I'm going to show you guys a couple things that I'm going to rig up to sort of match that hatch. First one's really easy. The second one's a little more technical, but it's easy to do. And you guys have actually seen me do it quite a few times. But the first one I'm going to show you is super simple. So what I got right here is just a classic punching rig. That's a 1.5 on my Halo. It's a TI 711 heavy action. It's a 1.5 ounce with a hack attack straight shank hook. A little, I think it's the 3/0 right there. I need to identify a trailer that can kind of mimic some of that orange in that. And it's all about balance and colors. So I wanted to do something different. This is actually a Gambler Komodo. It's actually a chatterbait trailer. Some guys put it on a swim jig and that, but as you can see, it's in that red hot color. It's like an orange green kind of deal. Ironically, it matches that crayfish almost perfectly. But what I want to do is balance out some of that color. It's a streamlined style bait, so it's going to punch through the mats really clean, and it's a little bit bigger than some of the other like BB crickets, the burner craw, things like that I throw. So what I'm going to actually do is Gambler makes these, what you're going to call a quick change punch skirt. So it's a standard punch skirt, right? But it's got a little bigger grommet on there, which is nice because the trick is I hate things that are annoying. I already had this 1.5 tied up. I don't want to cut it off and retie it to put this thing on. So what this allows you to do is just go ahead and slide that grommet over the hook like that and press it down. And all of a sudden I have a punch skirt on just like that. Super simple. It's in kind of like a brown, copper, black, green pumpkin color. I don't even know what it's called. And to be perfectly honest, I don't even know if they make it anymore, but it matches some of those darker hues that I found on that crayfish. But then what I want to do is I want to grab some of that orange, and that's where this Komodo comes in. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to Texas rig it with a straight shank, just like I would a standard flipping presentation. And I'm going to go ahead and go through and bring her out and just set that hook right in there. And what I'm going to get is, make sure she's straight right there. What I'm going to get is what I think is going to be a nice mimic for that craw. You guys can tell me down in the comments if you think that's a good mimic for basically the image that I showed you, that crawfish, that red, green. There's a little bit of red in that skirt, but it's mostly like that orange and that rusty kind of green kind of color. So the other thing that I'm going to do is sometimes these fish aren't directly in the mats, right? They're not totally under the mats. And I've had a lot of success flipping a bait and what I call penduluming it down next to the grass edge, next to, say, like a dome of hydrilla, next to a few strands of hydrilla, next to a milfoil patch, next to like a clump of pads. And you basically flip it out there and let it fall. So what I actually did is I took the skirt off. This is a Nichols jig. It's a 3/4 ounce. It's a little shorter hook. It's like a short shank 3/0, 3/4 ounce single weed guard. And this is going to be kind of my penduluming setup, but I need to put a skirt on it. What I'm going to do with it is I got a rod set up with 25-pound fluorocarbon right here. This is a KS275. It's actually a medium heavy, but it's a little stiffer than that. It's like my spoon rod, and I'll throw like a big swim bait, like a 3/4 ounce swim bait on it. But what we're going to do is I devised like 2 sets of colors. So one is going to be this guy. You always have to have magic craw because I swear by it. And then I have a black skirt piece of material, and then I like these zebra materials by Skirts Unlimited. They kind of, especially when you're talking about brighter colors, they kind of make it a little more subtle, so it's not just like straight red or straight orange. It sort of breaks up the pattern a little. And I'm gonna take my little Skirts Unlimited kit right here. I've told you guys in the past, always, I don't use the little grommets that come with it, the collars that come with it, because they're junk. They rot out and they go crap. I get these Boss O-rings just like these, and I already put 2 on my little mod deal. You take your little tube that comes with that Skirts Unlimited kit. I'm gonna put my hanger hook through it, and you're gonna see it right at the end here. Then I'm going to take my skirt layers. What I want to do is I've set it up so the orange is in the middle. It sort of subdues some of those brighter colors and then blends it in, just my opinion. And then you layer those 3 skirts together, those 3 skirt layers. Really, if you do any more than that, the skirts get super bulky, and I want this thing to fall pretty clean. I don't want it to slow down too much. Then all I'm going to do is take that hanger and basically place it through all that skirt material, and go ahead and draw it up through that tube just like that. Kind of broke as I was coming up, but that'll be okay. And I'm going to draw that skirt material through just like that using my fingers. Don't be too hard, otherwise you'll make the mistake I just made. Once I get it about halfway through or so, and draw it just a little more, I'm just gonna roll one of these little grommets over. It's all kind of like a pressure game, and basically I'll get my skirt. So it don't look super fancy right now, but I'll show you how we're going to make it look a little fancier. But then the next step that we're gonna do, and try to have something below you because it makes a mess on your boat, but you just go ahead and you trim the little tabs off, and that's what's gonna give you your fluffy, kind of beautiful, standard jig skirt. So turn off this side a little bit, just like this, and voila. So I have my jig skirt ready to go. I'm gonna slide it onto this jig and put a trailer on, and then we can assess whether it actually matches the hatch and mimics what I'm trying to mimic. So I got my 3/4 ounce jig right there. All you need to do is find that little collar piece, and then you're going to just hook through the skirt. You're gonna try to go through the middle as much as you can, and then you're going to roll it up over the shank and then onto the little skirt keeper that's right there. Once you do this, you are going to have to even things out a little. It's not going to be perfect once it's on there. So I'm going to kind of just massage some of the skirt material, pop it out a little bit, head flare it. Actually, it's coming out pretty darn good. I'll do a little bit of trimming just to make things a little more even. Don't want to over trim it because the whole goal is to obviously have some of that skirt material and have it slow the fall of the 3/4 ounce jig and kind of flare as it's going down. But you do need to even it out just a little bit. I think that actually looks really good. You guys can tell me what you think. Does that look like that crawfish? I think it does, dude. Now, the trick with this is I'm going to have to pick a trailer. And what I think I'm going to do is, there's a lot of green in here. There's not as much red as I actually wanted. And I think in this situation, I'm going to go back to my D&M custom bait right here. This guy right here. It's basically like a black and red neon. I don't know if you guys are picking up on the red, but there's red fleck in there. Just a little bit of a reflection. How about it, boys? I would say that's pretty damn close. It's streamlined. I have some bulk in the skirt. It's got the greens, it's got the oranges, there's the black and the red neon on there, and it's going to be quick enough with the fall rate with that 3/4 ounce so I can pitch it around and get a reaction strike. I can fish fast. I'm not dangling this thing and like dragging it around and taking forever. I'm basically pitching to targets, seeing if something bites, seeing if something follows it down, lifting, maybe pop it once or twice, but then moving on to the next target. On this last one, I wanted something with a little more like red integrated in. This is again one of those zebra skirts. It's got like black, red, like that rusty kind of green pumpkin. I'm going to put that in the middle of my magic craw and then my black. And then I'm gonna get my little tube. I got one grommet left on there. That's one of those boss grommets. And then I'm gonna drop my hanger through there. It's a really simple process. I got a fancier tool in the house for more technical jig skirts, but for on the water and just trying to do this quick before I go fishing, this is like the easiest way to do it. So then I'm going to put that hanger hook right through those skirts like that. And then once again, gently draw up. I screwed up the first one, so I can do this one a little bit smoother, get it to right about there. And now I'm going to drop out. And basically I have it halfway through just like that. And then I'm just going to roll that little grommet off the tubing. It should just slide and roll. That's why I like those grommets too. They kind of roll versus having to kind of like put a lot of tension on them. And then I got that one right in the middle. That one came out perfect, dude. So I got my tabs on each end. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to clip them real simply, just like that. And then you try to line them up on the other side and do the same thing. And voila. So this one has a lot more red built into it. It actually looks really good as well. Both of them turned out kind of exactly what I was looking for. I wanted some dark aspects. I wanted that rusty green in there. And then my highlight color is either the red or the orange. And then whatever I'm lacking, what I try to do, and this is an old punch skirt trick when we used to flip a lot of mats down in Florida, I like kind of comparing contrast or complementing. So any color that I think I'm missing on the skirt, I'll try to add to the soft plastic trailer or vice versa. If I'm missing a color in my soft plastic trailer that I'm gonna put on there, I'll add it to the skirt. But that's kind of my setups, dude. I'm gonna play around with this. The jig is going to be for some of that open water, kind of flipping isolated targets. I figure those crawfish are definitely moving around the grass. It is not a dragging jig. This is gonna be all flipping, you know, pitching, because somebody in the comments is going to throw a fit because I'm saying flipping, but basically pitching it around, isolated targets, mats, edges, pad stems if there are some, even some open water, single strands, you know, just having that jig pendulum down, trying to get a reaction, even some holes in the grass, things along those lines where there might be some brim or some crayfish kind of hiding together. And then the other deal that I'm going to do is have this punch skirt deal. So that's that punch skirt with that Komodo. It's got the orange Komodo, a 1.5. I might have to up the weight a little to get through. I'm going to have to experiment with it a little bit, but it's just a compact kind of streamlined deal to mimic that craw. And it just seems like on river systems, when they're eating those crawfish, that punch skirt really plays a role. It's either whether they're eating craws or eating brim, that punch skirt seems to play. But I can go under the mats, I can go around the mats, I can cover isolated targets. And really, it gives me a lot of confidence because I'm mimicking exactly what those fish coughed up in that live well. It's that orange, reddish crayfish, dude. And they're obviously eating it, and the big ones are obviously eating it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. You guys got anything to add, drop it down in the comments box. I love playing around with skirts. It's a real simple way to kind of tweak your presentation, give you a little more confidence, and especially as we go into that late season of summer when those fish start getting back in the grass, making little slight adjustments, matching the hatch, can get you some extra bites and catch you some bigs. I'll put links to everything down in the description box at Tackle Warehouse and Monster Bass if you guys want to check it out or try to tie up some of your own skirts, play around a little bit with punch skirts. But I'm going to get ready to go fishing. I'll get a bottle of Pat for you. Later, homies.